Yes, good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, are you going to continue with PDF today or are you going to start a new chapter?
Today PDF only. Next class onwards, I will start new chapter thermodynamics. One more thing. Today, somewhat higher level problems I'm going to explain. That's what those who are preparing for NEET and JEE only attend class. Remaining students, you can leave class and write assignments complete within 4 days. Already I gave due date also. Submit by Thursday.
Okay, sir.
See, I think in PDF, 51 questions complete, no? 51.
Yes, sir. 51 is over.
Over. Okay, now see, 52. Read Ananya.
Sir, just a minute. I need to open it.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
With what?
52.
Okay, yeah. 1 second. The compressibility of a gas is less than unity as STP. Therefore,
Okay. So at STP, what is volume? How much volume at STP?
22.4.
22.4. That is at STP. And here clearly saying the compressibility of a gas is less than unity, means less than 1. If Z value is less than 1 means we are writing Z is equal to PV by nRT, no? PV by nRT. If Z is less than 1, it means we are compressing the gas, right?
Yes, sir.
We are compressing the gas. Then if Z is less than 1, then how much V value? It must be lower than 22.4, no? At Z is equal to 1, if it is maintaining 22.4 liter as ideal gas. If Z is less than 1 means you are compressing that. So obviously V value will become less than 22.4. So this is the
Which
correct
question
answer.
are you discussing, sir?
52. So volume of gas
52.
to be less than 22.4. So question number 52, option B is correct. Okay, here, see 53 question. The Joule-Thomson effect is 0 at. This is a very higher standard. I mean, advanced level, they're asking this kind of questions. But anyhow, if you want a right definition, what is a Joule-Thomson effect?
sir, can you explain the 52nd one again?
Okay, listen. See, ideal gas or any gas at STP, volume is equal to 22.4 liters. At STP, volume is 22.4 liters. Here in the question, they are clearly telling compressibility is less than 1, right? The compressibility of a gas is less than unity, means less than 1. It means we are compressing the gas. We are compressing the gas. If it is above 1 means gas is expanded and it is showing a positive deviation from ideal behavior. That in this case, Z is greater than 1. So if Z is less than 1 means gas we are compressing. That's what volume of a gas will become decreases. How much decreases means we don't know exactly how much that value, but it must be less than 22.4 only. Fine.
Yes, sir. So the answer will be A.
A not B.
B, B.
Less than 22.4.
Yeah.
1 minute. I'll give Joule-Thomson effect. Okay. In notebook, just note down what is the definition of Joule-Thomson effect. The change of temperature of a gas the change of temperature of a gas when it is allowed to expand, when it is allowed to expand, allowed to expand without doing any external work. Without doing any external work. The gas become cooler. The gas becomes cooler. If it was, the gas becomes cooler. In case of hydrogen and helium only, the gas will become hot. Except for hydrogen and helium, which get warmed up.
Sir, why only hydrogen and helium?
In that case, that intermolecular forces are responsible. So here we have the Joule-Thomson effect. Mu is equal to dou P by dou T by dou P. So just note on this formula. Joule-Thomson coefficient.
So,
Tell me, mu.
in general,
Hmm.
when a gas expands, normally the energy of the electrons will increase, right?
No, energy of electron not increase. It will become cool, right? Suppose here is the gaseous substance with a small hole. It is allowed to expand in a bigger volume. So very big volume we are taking.
Okay, like that.
Yes.
Just to occupy a larger
Large volume when
space.
it is occupying, almost all gases will become cool. But except hydrogen and helium only, that exception is there. That is depending upon intermolecular force of attractions. But one more thing, ideal gases are except. Here they do not cool, they do not become hot also. In case of ideal gases.
And this coefficient is always with respect to hydrogen.
What?
Like in the formula, you've given dt by dp.
No, it's not. That is H
Rho
means
or-
enthalpy. H means enthalpy, not hydrogen. We are showing the enthalpy, amount of heat absorbed or heat evolved, that at constant heat absorption, at constant heat evolution.
That's d only, no, sir?
No, H, enthalpy we are showing with H.
No, dt and dp, or is it
We are
rho?
calling dou.
Okay.
Okay, dou means we are right. Dou. Showing with like. Differentiation, you have now idea about partial differentiation. Partial differentiation, we are writing like that, dou T by dou P.
So can you move a bit?
Hello?
Can you move a bit, sir? Thank you.
So this are point also note down. Ideal gases do not show any cooling or heating. Reason is there, in between gaseous molecule, there is no intermolecular force of attraction when we consider if it is a ideal gas. The gas is ideal, there is no intermolecular force of attractions or repulsion. That's what here there is no Joule-Thomson effect. Means there is no heat, there is no cooling, and there is no warming. However, initially same after expansion also.
So I have a small doubt regarding JE. Generally, there'll be obviously 25 questions. So most of them are application based, or most of them are calculation kind of.
Okay, in
Numericals.
chemistry, hardly 8 to 10 questions only calculations. 8 to 10. Remaining 15 are conceptual based.
Okay.
And in that, out of 25 questions, last year also nearly 15 questions, not 15, 13 or 14 questions are giving from 12th standard. 11th is just 10 or 12 only giving.
But weightage is almost equal, right, for both the years?
Almost. 1 or 2 questions only extra from 12th only. Mostly problematic questions asking from 11th. In 12th, mostly organic chemistry is there in 12th standard.
Okay.
See, full inorganic is concept based, organic also concept based. From only physical chemistry, we have 10 chapters. Out of 10 also, they are giving 7 or 8 problems. Remaining 2 are concept based. Okay, now see that question. Okay, the Joule-Thomson effect is 0 at absolute temperature, critical temperature, inversion temperature below 0 degrees centigrade. So here we are using the word inversion temperature. So if
Sir, what is
applying
inversion
for
temperature?
that is ideal gases, the gases, ideal gas which are taking at a particular temperature, that's we are calling inversion temperature. So other gases we are taking at any temperature, but only that concept is if you read the question, Joule-Thomson effect is 0 at.
Sir, it's Boyle's point, right?
Boyle's point, no, how it is Boyle's point? Boyle's point is the temperature at which liquid starts gases starts liquefaction.
Sir, no, sir. That's critical temperature. Sir, Boyle's point is when the gas nearly acts as an ideal gas.
Okay, correct. Yes, at the temperature, almost that time we are considering gas is the ideal gas. So for ideal gases, there is no cooling, there is no warming. It means there is no effect, there is no Joule-Thomson effect. Joule-Thomson effect is 0. Right, that temperature only we are calling inversion temperature. Okay, correct one, that Boyle's temperature only.
So, sir, for this 53rd question, answer is C.
53, yeah, option C is correct.
So how is it option C?
See, we'll read the question carefully. The Joule-Thomson effect is 0 at. So once read this point, ideal gases do not show any cooling or warming. It means ideal gases do not showing Joule-Thomson effect. It is possible at which temperature? Only possible at Boyle's temperature. Boyle's temperature we are also calling inversion temperature. Here Boyle's temperature means the temperature at which gases behaves as a ideal. Yes, when a gas behaving ideal means Joule-Thomson effect is 0. Okay, next, see 54th question. See, the magnitude of surface tension of a liquid depends upon the attractive forces between the molecules arrange the following in the increasing order of surface tension: water, alcohol, ethyl alcohol, and hexane. There, in which molecule we are observing more stronger intermolecular forces? That only
Water,
having the
sir.
higher surface tension. See, about surface tension, viscosity, will deep you can learn in physics chapters. So normal definition for surface tension is force applied for unit length. It is called surface tension. So if in between the molecules, very strong force of attractions are there. I'm talking about just surface molecules.
Sir, you need to see the atomic mass of the whole molecule, then we can find out this process.
No, not by molecular mass. You have to see by interactions. In which molecular interactions are more, those molecules we are observing higher surface tension. Suppose these are water molecules. In between water molecules, hydrogen bonding is present, right? That's what very strong
Yes, sir.
force of attractions are present. Practically, I'm telling how we are calculating surface tension and how we can observe. So here we are taking some water in a container. We are dipping one capillary, very narrow tube, glass tube. If we dip in this, some of the water, because of surface tension, water is going upside in this capillary. This is calling where surface tension. The force applied in unit length, it is called surface tension. Okay, in whatever the molecules, stronger intermolecular forces are there, that's showing higher surface tension. So see here, water is given, ethyl alcohol also there, and another one is hexane. Hexane is C6H14. You know, in H2O, hydrogen bond is possible. Ethyl alcohols are hydrogen bond possible, but here there is no hydrogen bond. Well, compare again these two. In these two, water having a stronger hydrogen bond compared to ethyl alcohol. So this having higher interactions, this having weak interactions. Obviously, this one having highest surface tension. So now choose correct option.
Sir,
What?
option B.
Option?
Sir, B.
Yeah, B is the correct answer. Okay, next, Clapeyron equation. It is coming in thermodynamics. We will discuss. I think that is also asking in advanced level. No need this kind of question. Just you answer the option C, both A and B. 55. We will derive in thermodynamics.
So,
Tell me.
can we start thermodynamics without doing states of matter in general? Can thermodynamics chapter be started without states of matter?
Yeah, we can start because there are also some introduction is there about volume, pressure, and ideal gas concept. We are studying under states of matter, thermodynamics also. That's what, if you don't know the states of matter, that was much difficult to understand. Okay, next, the 56th question. Following properties will decrease with increase in temperature except. Find out answer.
Sir, option B.
Option
B.
D. Vapor pressure, right?
Yes, sir, option D.
Correct. With increase of temperature, vapor pressure also increases. So you should know what is vapor pressure. This is on closed vessel. Till here we have some water. Not only water, we can take any liquid, volatile liquid. Okay, if we leave some time, here we are observing some moisture, no? Water vapor. Even drinking water bottle also, if we didn't open some time lid, some moisture we are observing on the surface of a liquid. Yes, that's we are saying water vapor. Because of that vapor causes some pressure on the surface of liquid. That's called vapor pressure. The pressure exerted by the vapor on the surface of a liquid is called vapor pressure. If we increase generally temperature, the water will convert easily vapor. That vapor causes much pressure. So now with increase of temperature, vapor pressure also increases. So option D 56. Okay, next, see question number 57. Which is a true statement? All liquids have concave meniscus. All liquids have convex meniscus.
What is meniscus, sir?
Oh, suppose if you take a liquid in a capillary or in any glass tube, suppose in burette also, liquids are forming like this. This is a meniscus top. Some are showing like this. Some liquids showing like this. This is convex, this is a concave. So all liquids have concave meniscus. All liquids have convex meniscus. Mercury has convex and other liquids have concave. And mercury has concave and other liquids have convex meniscus.
Is it option D?
Option
Is it
D,
option
sir.
D?
Option
D.
D.
D or C?
D.
D, sir.
C,
D.
according to me.
Sir, I think option C, because in thermometer we see
Yes, you
It
can
is
correct. In thermometer,
convex.
how did you observe mercury? In thermometer,
convex.
Sir, it looked like a
or
bulb.
like this.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First one. AA.
correct. Yeah, in mercury, that's mercury in thermometers it's being like this. That means this is a convex or concave?
Convex.
Convex. Other all liquids are showing concave only. So answer is C. Okay, next 58. Surface tension of water is 73 dyne per centimeter at 20 degrees centigrade. If surface area is increased by 0.1 meter square, work done is. Surface tension S is equal to, you can write force applied per unit area or work by unit area we are writing. So then according to question, work is equal to S into A. They're given what is surface tension? 73 dyne per centimeter inverse. Into area. Increased area is 0.1 meter square. Convert into centimeters. 0.1 into meter square. Convert into centimeters. It will become 10 power 4 centimeters square now. Now multiply 73 into 0.1. 7.3 into 10 power 4 dyne centimeter. This is the answer. So dyne centimeter we can call erg. Copy this answer.
Sir,
Yes, tell me.
sir, could you keep the test of states of matter like next Tuesday? Because we have our bio assignments to complete by 7th. So if you could postpone it to next Tuesday.
2 weeks, it's too long. In this week itself only possible to transfer up to, when I give?
Sir, Friday. Okay.
Friday, if
it's
possible, I will
better.
take on Saturday. But
That's all. Sir, I only want wanted to tell this, sir. We can have it on Saturday. Because school
Saturday.
also.
Sir, I won't be able to attend it on Saturday.
Why? You have a bio exam?
No,
assignment.
sir, I'll be going out of station. That's why.
Okay,
So
then
is
after
it?
you write.
Yeah, is it possible that I write sometime like afterwards?
Okay.
So can you briefly explain this?
This question 58.
Yeah.
The actual surface tension, according to definition, is surface tension force applied for unit length, not ms. Sorry, I think here we are applying unit length. Just keep L, F by L, or we are writing work by A. Force applied for unit length, it is calling surface tension. So previously I shown one diagram now. Here liquid are taking, here dipping a one small capillary tube. So this water is moving upside. So how much length that water is moving, based on that we are calculating surface tension of any liquid. So that's what we are giving formula, force applied for unit length. So according to that, okay, this is modified formula. This is I think force having some formula, no, sir? Force to work.
Yeah.
The work is giving as S into A. And this surface tension and how much area is increased there. On multiplication, it is giving S into A. S value they're already given, surface tension 73 dyne per centimeter inverse. And area is given 0.1 into 10 power 4. Not 10 power 4, they're actually given 0.1 into 1 meter square is given. It is in CGS units now, dyne centimeter inverse. That's what this also, this is in SI unit. We have to convert this into CGS units. That's what 0.1 into 10 power 4 centimeter square. We converted this to CGS unit. Multiplied this and this, we are getting 7.3 into 10 power 4 ergs. Okay, then see question number 59. What is the SI unit of viscosity coefficient? Okay, just note down what is the viscosity coefficient.
That is option B.
Option B is correct. That is a Newton second meter power minus 2. Option B is the correct answer. Just write what is viscosity coefficient. It may be defined as the force of resistance force of resistance per unit area which will maintain
So per unit area.
Per unit area, which will maintain unit velocity gradient between two liquid layers. Between two liquid layers. just once coming to practical life, suppose this is a water tube. If you observe, when the water is coming from the any tube, the water which is coming from these edges, just one, you think as it is a one layer of water. This layer of water comes very slowly, right? Which is very closer to the that steel pipe or any plastic pipe or rubber pipe. That water comes very slowly. So that is one layer. It comes slowly. Next layer, this is coming somewhat fastly. And next layer, it will comes very fast. The water which is coming from the middle, that comes very fast. Did you observe this one in practically?
Yes,
Water
sir.
which is coming from the middle of the tubes comes very fast. Water which is coming from the edges, it comes slowly. That means there's a one layer.
Surface tension, sir.
Yes, because not because of surface. That is only viscosity.
Pressure, no, sir.
Viscosity does not depend upon pressure also.
Sir, it's something like friction, no, sir?
Yeah, because of frictional force only. In between the layers of water also some frictional force exists. That's only we are talking here force of resistance per unit area. So that is because of that studying under frictional force only. Between the layers, some frictional forces exist. So the water which is coming from very close to the tube comes slowly. Then next layer comes somewhat fast. Then layer by layer, speed is increases. So that difference is there, no? That velocity difference between the layers we are calling velocity gradient.
Okay.
So here for this question, answer is 59th is put option B.
So can you repeat what is velocity gradient?
So the regular gradation in the velocity of the liquid layers, it is called velocity gradient. Next question, 60. Which of the following property of water can be used to explain the spherical shape of rain droplets? Why raindrops are in spherical shape? This question is very important question in physics, fluid dynamics.
Sir, surface tension.
Yes, because of surface tension. Then come to 61. Evaporation and boiling differs. So what is the main difference between evaporation and boiling? Choose correct statement. First, you should know what is evaporation and boiling. See.
Is it
Sir, option A.
Yes, option A.
Yes, sir, option A.
Correct. Option A. See here, evaporation is it happens at any temperature. Evaporation takes place at any temperature, but boiling means the definition is there. Suppose we are taking liquid in a container, while heating, some bubbles are forming down and those are coming upside. That is actually boiling of a liquid. Evaporation means that happens at any temperature, low temperature, high, medium, any temperature evaporation happens, but boiling happens only at boiling point. At the time, some bubbles are formed at the downside of that container and those bubbles comes upside. That is only boiling. So both the process, what happening, liquid is converting into gas only.
Sir, which
Vaporization?
question are we discussing?
61
or 60?
61. Both the
60
process.
answer, sir.
What?
60th question.
60 is option B.
Okay, sir.
In evaporation and boiling, both the cases, a liquid is converting into vapor only. I mean gaseous state. But vaporization is taking place at any temperature. Boiling happens only at boiling point. So option A is correct. Evaporation is a spontaneous at all temperatures, while boiling is a constant temperature. Correct. Then come to 62. If latent heat of vaporization is L at boiling point T in kelvins, then entropy of vaporization is, okay, I think all are new terms for you. Latent heat of vaporization means the amount of heat energy is required to convert a unit amount of liquid to vapor. It is called latent heat of vaporization. So that may be 1 gram, 5 gram or 10 grams of liquid. Yeah, any amount we can take. It may be 1 gram also. 1 gram of liquid or water. Some amount of heat energy is required to convert this 1 gram of liquid into its vapor. This is only we are calling latent heat of vaporization. So here again introduce a new term, that is entropy. Entropy of vaporization.
Sir, what is entropy?
It is a measure of disorderness. So disorderness increases, entropy also increases. Just one simple example I will tell for entropy. Suppose I'm taking the ice cube. So here all water molecules are tightly packed. Now heated this one, giving heat. Then liquid becomes, sorry, solid become, ice become water. So here somewhat disorderness is increased now. In case of ice, water molecules are present at particular places. Maybe they are moving from their mean position, but not moving from this place to this place. But in liquid state, they are moving. And further heating, this will becomes vapor. In vapor state, there is too much disorderness. Right?
Yes, sir.
Suppose at the time of classes in school, students are in their respective classrooms. When suppose bell is rang, then all students are coming out now. All our students are mixes. So their disorderness is increased.
Sir, so in ice, the entropy is lowest, and in gas, the entropy is highest.
Entropy is the highest. So disorderness is increased means entropy is increased. Okay. So now here question is, if latent heat of vaporization L at boiling point T, then entropy of vaporization both are related to L by T. Entropy of vaporization is writing L by T. So the suitable answer is we can take L T inverse. B is the correct option. Then come to question number 63. Select the correct statements. The standard boiling temperature is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the substance is 1 bar. Yes, it's correct, ma. The standard boiling temperature is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the substance is 1 bar. So what is boiling point? Anybody? What is boiling point?
The temperature at which the liquid is converted to gas.
Correct.
273 Kelvin.
Okay, it's correct only. But one more definition I am giving you in terms of vapor pressure. Listen this. So in a container, we are taking, this is a closed container, liquid here. So when liquid starts boiling, we are saying boiling point means the temperature at which liquid converts to vapor is the temperature we are calling boiling point. But another definition is, while heating, this liquid becomes vapor. Yes, this liquid also causes some pressure. No, we are calling that is vapor pressure. So whenever this vapor pressure becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure or outside pressure, then liquid starts boiling. That's called boiling point. So outside also, suppose outside 1 atmosphere is there. Whenever this vapor causes 1 atmospheric pressure inside the container, then this starts boiling. So according to that, statement A is correct. At a standard boiling temperature, the standard boiling temperature is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the substance is 1 bar. Next, option B is the normal boiling temperature is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the substance is 1 atmosphere. Even it is also correct. So standard boiling point is at 1 bar we are taking. At normal boiling point we are taking at 1 atmosphere. Then option C is substances for which temperature is greater than Tc. Tc is, what is Tc?
Critical temperature.
Critical temperature. And pressure greater than critical pressure are called supercritical fluids. So this is a new term, supercritical fluids. Supercritical fluid is exist at temperature above critical temperature, pressure above critical pressure. See guys, if at critical temperature, just I'm taking in reverse. If temperature is below critical temperature and pressure is suppose above critical pressure, then what happens?
It becomes liquid.
Liquid. We can liquefy a gas. Gases can liquefy. But at these conditions, this is not supporting for liquefaction. T is greater than critical temperature means we never liquefy that gas. And pressure we are applying so much, very high pressure we are applying. Actually, in these conditions, what happens? The state of the given gas is gaseous state only, not in liquid state. It is in gaseous state. But more denser because we are applying high pressure now. Pressure we are applying higher. That's what it is, a denser than normal gas. But less denser than liquid. This is only we are calling supercritical fluids. Note down that point. Supercritical fluid exists at T less than Tc, sorry, T greater than Tc, pressure greater than Pc. It is exist at T greater than Tc, P greater than Pc. After that, write this. At these conditions, it exists as gaseous state, but denser than normal gas and less denser than liquids. Less denser than liquid state. Okay. See next question, 64. Select the incorrect state. So 63 answer is a D. '64. Select the incorrect statement. The properties of liquid crystals are intermediate between liquids and solids. Okay, correct. Option B. Surface tension of a liquid is maximum at critical temperature. No, it's not correct. Surface tension is decreases with temperature, increases with decrease of temperature. Surface tension is inversely proportional to temperature. With increases temperature, surface tension decreases, or by decreasing temperature, surface tension increases. So this is the principle used to remove dirt. We are using somewhat hot water than cold water. So to remove stains on cloths, hot water, somewhat not very hot water. If we take very hot water, that fiber will get damaged. We are maintaining moderate hot. If we take moderate hot water, that having the lower surface tension, and it can easily remove the any greaser or stains on cloths. And the same principle using in a dry cleaning process also. In dry cleaning, they won't use water. They will use some other organic liquids which having a low surface tension. If surface tension is low, we can remove easily stains on cloths. So here option B only incorrect statement. Surface tension of a liquid is maximum at critical temperature. That's wrong. And option C is viscosity decreases with increase in temperature. Correct. With increase of temperature, molecular motions increases and liquid moves very fastly. Correct. So viscosity, if we compare water and honey or any oils are floating very slowly. Water is moving very fastly. So if we increase temperature, even in oils also, in between the molecules, attractive forces decreases with increase of temperature. They also moves very fastly. So surface tension, viscosity decreases with increase in temperature. That's correct. And option D is CO2 and H2O show the unusual property of supercritical fluids. Yes, option D also correct. Only option B is incorrect statement.
Sir, what does option D describe?
Which one?
Sir, option D.
Option D.
Yes, sir.
CO2 and H2O show the unusual property of, these are showing supercritical fluids. That's what only in industrially mostly using water and carbon dioxides in their supercritical, I mean, in that conditions. Okay, then come to round 2 questions. Read Nagabhushanam, first question.
Yes, sir. The drain cleaner, Drain-X, contains small bits of aluminum which react with caustic soda to produce dihydrogen. What is the volume of dihydrogen at 20 degrees Celsius and 1 bar will be released when 15 grams of aluminum reacts?
Okay. When the aluminum reacting is 0.1 gram of aluminum is reacting. What volume of dihydrogen is produced at 20 degrees centigrade, 1 bar pressure we have to calculate. Okay, first of all, you have to write a equation between sodium hydroxide and aluminum metal. Aluminum plus NaOH and water gives NaAl O2 plus H2. Balance equation. Two Al, 2 NaOH. Take 2 water molecules. 2 NaLO2 and 3 H2. 2 sodium, 2 aluminum, 4 oxygens. 2 oxygens, yeah, 4 oxygens, 6 hydrogens. Equation is balanced. So here apply standard condition. Aluminum atomic mass is 27. 2 moles of aluminum mass, 54 grams. 54 grams produces 6 grams of hydrogen. Okay. Okay, instead of that, go through moles, that is better. 2 moles giving 6 moles of hydrogen. Sorry, 3 moles of hydrogen. This is aluminum is given 0.15 gram. 0.15 gram, if we convert into number of moles, 0.15 divided by 27 moles gives how many moles of hydrogen? Number of moles of hydrogen is equal to 3 into 0.15 divided by 27 into 2. Calculate this. So 0.0083. This many moles of hydrogen is produced. Now we have to convert that into water volume of dihydrogen at 20 degrees centigrade and 1 bar pressure will be released. So this is actually at STP condition. PV is equal to nRT. Volume of gas is equal to nRT by V. Number of moles 0.0083. So R value 0.083 mole liter Kelvin inverse and atmospheres. Temperature is 20 degrees centigrade plus 273. 293 divided by pressure. No. Pressure is given 1 bar pressure. Multiply this. Answer is coming 0.2. 0.202 atmosphere. Sorry, liters. Choose which option is correct here.
Sir, option C.
Option C.
0.203 ml.
No. Option
It's
C is
given in ml.
Okay, that is in liters. Convert, it will give 202 liters, 202 ml. So option B, no, closer value check. Actually 0.20265 is coming, means you can take as a 3. 203 ml. B is the correct answer. Okay, see next question. This graph expresses the various steps of the system containing 1 mole of gas. Which type of process system has when it moves from C to A? C to A. Find answer. In that graph, moving from C to A means temperature is decreasing and also volume also decreasing. The process of C to A. So relation between temperature and volume at constant pressure, what we are calling? Isochoric, isobaric, isothermal, cyclic. What is correct answer?
Sir, what is the question? Can you explain again?
Second one, second question, their graph is given, right? In that graph, moving from C to A. C to A, this is C, this is the point A, moving from this to this. So these are the temperatures, T1, this is the T2, the volume V1, this is the volume V2. So we are moving from C to A. C to A, temperature is increasing or decreasing?
They're decreasing. So it's
Temperature decreasing. At the same time, volume also from V2 to V1, volume also decreasing.
Sir, it's isobaric.
Isobaric. So that happens at constant pressure. So the curves or graphs between, at a constant pressure, we are calling isobars. So that is isobaric. Option B is correct. Then see question number 3. Gas, CO, CH4, HCl, SO2. Their critical temperatures are given in kelvins. 134, 190, 324, 430. In the context of a given value of critical temperatures, the greater ease of liquefaction is of. Means which
SO2?
gas we can liquefy easily. Very good, SO2. So higher the critical temperature, easy to liquefy. Next, fourth question. In 2 vessels of 1 liter each, at the same temperature, 1 gram of hydrogen and 1 gram of methane are taken for those. So both our mass is 1 gram at same temperature. So 1 liter vessels.
Sir?
Tell me.
Sir, RMS is inversely proportional to 1 by square root of m, no, sir?
Correct.
Sir, so here both the masses are same. So we can use that relation, no, sir?
Mass is not the same. How it is here? Okay, this is 1 gram we are taking. This is also 1 gram. Here hydrogen, but here maintaining a methane. But the condition is both are at same temperature.
Sir, we need to get the number of moles first. Then only
You don't need to go through that all. Just
with
listen.
given mass, it's
See, in two ways. Okay, option A is given RMS values will be same. Kinetic energy per molecule will be same. This is correct. Kinetic energy per molecule means average kinetic energy, no?
Yes, sir.
Average kinetic energy. So average kinetic energy is same at same temperature. You take any gas, any amount of gas, but at same temperature, all are maintaining same only. Average kinetic energy we are talking. We are not talking about individual. Average kinetic energy is directly proportional to the temperature. So option B is correct. So whatever the mass you take here, whatever the mass, what is the gas, but at same temperature, both are maintaining same average kinetic energy. B is the correct answer. Next, fifth one. Which one of the following volume temperature plots represents the behavior of 1 mole of an ideal gas at 1 atmospheric pressure? What is correct here? 1 mole of gas at 1 atmospheric pressure. So first of all, see which graph is normal graph, which graph is correct. Volume versus temperature. Volume versus temperature. A graph is correct, B graph is correct, but C graph, all three are correct. But which values are suitable, we have to find. Okay,
Sir,
so
we need
apply here
to-
V1 by T1 equal to V2 by T2.
Yes, sir.
First check for option A. Option A. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. V1 is, V1 initial volume 22.4 liters. T1 is 273 Kelvin. Okay, equal to V2. V2 we have to find. And if T2 is 373 Kelvin, then calculate V2 value. 22.4 into 373 divided by 273.
Sir, it's option C.
Option C. Okay, let's check. So here should come 30.6. V2 should come 30.6 liters. Okay, liters. 30.6. Yeah, that we are observing at only option C. In option A, they're given 38.8 liter volume. That's not possible. Here we are getting 22.4 liter volume, 273 Kelvin. When temperature is increased to 373, volume should become 30.6 only. Here option C only correct. Then see question number 6. The temperature at which nitrogen under 1 atmosphere pressure has the same root mean square speed as that of carbon dioxide at STP is. So here comparison between nitrogen gas and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is at STP condition. Nitrogen is at 1 atmosphere. Temperature we have to find out. What is the RMS speed formula?
Sir, square root of 3 RT by M.
Okay, square root of RT by M. So we will apply for both sides. Nitrogen root of 3 RT by M. Nitrogen mass is 28 molar mass, and here carbon dioxide root of 3 R, just keep as R only, that's constant, we can cancel. Temperature is 273 Kelvin, that is at STP, no? Divided by carbon dioxide mass is 44. So both sides 3R and root is getting cancelled. T by 28. T means here T nitrogen is equal to 273 by 44. Nitrogen is equal to 273 into 28 divided by 44. Calculate this. Giving 173.72 Kelvin. Convert this into degrees centigrades. (173.72 minus 273).
Sir, it's minus 100 degrees Celsius.
Minus 99.27 degrees centigrade. So closer value is option C. Yeah, C is the correct answer. Let's see next question. 7th one. The molecular mass of each nitrogen and carbon monoxide is 28. Yeah, nitrogen molar mass and carbon monoxide molar mass is 28 only. If 0.5 liters of nitrogen at 27 degrees centigrade and 700 mm pressure contains N molecules, the number of molecules in 1 liter of carbon monoxide under identical condition will be. You can answer easily this. This is based on Avogadro's law.
Sir, N itself.
N? No, not in N itself. Both are not in same volume. See, different volumes are there.
Yes, sir, 1 liter. So it will be 2N.
2N is correct. Carbon monoxide volume is same, and nitrogen volume also they are taking same volume. Sorry, volumes are different. Nitrogen we are taking at 0.5. Carbon monoxide is taking at 1 liter. 0.5 liter it is. This is at 27 degrees centigrade, 700 mm of pressure. This is also same. Conditions are same. See, Avogadro's law is equal. Sorry. Law is equal volumes of different gases under the same conditions of temperature and pressure contain same number of molecules. Equal volumes of gases under similar conditions of temperature and pressure maintains equal number of molecules. That means here these are not equal volumes. This is 1 liter is given, this is 0.5 liter is given. With 0.5 liter, it having n molecules. Under the same conditions, we are taking 1 liter, means obviously it will become 2n molecules. C is the correct answer. See, question number 8. Gases X, Y, Z, P, and Q have the van der Waals constant A and B in Celsius units as shown below. A values are given, B values are given for different gases. The gas with the higher critical temperature is. So which gas having higher critical temperature? So we have formula 8A by 27 RB. See the gas which one having higher A by B, that always having highest TC value.
Sir,
Tell me.
Sir, can you just say that A is directly proportional to TC?
Directly proportional to
TC.
BC. What?
Sir, can you say A is directly proportional
A is directly proportional. Critical temperature is A is directly proportional. With B, it is inversely proportional. That's what here. By that way, we can't. We must have to find out the ratio
Their
A by B
answer
value.
is C.
C. What? Y is the correct one. So
His
once it's
answer
better to
C.
find. I think 6. Wherever we are getting A by B higher, if A by B higher, that gas have higher TC. So remaining all are constant. 8 by 27 R is constant only for every gas. So where we are getting A by B higher value, find out. 6 by 0.025.
Yes, sir.
So it is giving 240. So that is X, no, not B, X.
I
And
didn't
Y
see
gas
that, sir.
6 by 0.5. This is just, just 12, 0.15. And this is 40. Z is 20 by 0.1. It is 200, no? 200. 0.05 divided by 0.02. 2.5. 30 divided by 0.2. 150. So X only having the higher critical temperature. So option D is correct. Then see question number 9. Gases possess characteristic critical temperature which depends upon the magnitude of intermolecular force between the particles. Following are the critical temperatures of some gases. From the above data, what would be the order of liquefaction of these gases? Start writing the order from the gas liquefying first. Choose correct option. So which gas we can liquefy easily?
Sir, O2.
O2, because it having higher critical temperature, we can liquefy easily. Then
N2.
Then N2. Okay. After
H2 and then He.
He. So which option is correct?
Option D.
Option D is correct. Bhargav?
Yes, sir.
Read question number 10.
Yes, sir. Payload is defined as the difference between the mass of displaced air and the mass of balloon. Calculate the payload when balloon of radius 10 meter and mass of 100 kg is filled with helium at 1.66 bar at 27 degrees. Density of air is 1.2 kg meter cube and R is equals to 0.83 bar dm cube.
Okay. So here radius of balloon is given now. So payload is defined as the difference between the mass of displaced air and the mass of the balloon. Okay. You have idea about this in physics? About payload?
Sir, no, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Just one example I will tell. On roadways, we are observing, foot over bridges.
This question I think is long, sir.
Question is long, okay.
Question
Foot
I
over
think-
bridges, no.
So we
Just
can
to
do
think
this
about
tomorrow,
bridges.
sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Bridges.
Bridges. If you see foot over bridges on the way to, completely is constructed with metals. We are observing mostly in Bangalore city. We are observing foot over bridges constructed with metals and metal sheets and metal poles. So, I mean, to construct that bridge, there is some mass of that metal. Suppose that mass metal is 100 tons. Suppose. And payload means people are traveling and walking on that bridge. We have to include that weight also. That is we are talking about payload. Payload, okay, the difference, mother. Payload is defined as the difference between the mass of displaced air and the mass of the balloon. Here means that difference will be there. Suppose bridge weight is this is. Suppose 1,000 people are walking on that bridge. 1,000 people average weight you take 70. 1,000 into 70.
70,000, sir.
70,000. Is it equal to 100 tons or 7 tons?
Sir, it is 7 tons. Sir, 70 tons.
70,000 means 7.
700 tons.
700, not 700 tons. 70 tons. Right now. 70,000 means 1 ton means 1,000 kilos.
Yes, sir, 1,000.
So it is 70 tons. Now this difference, the actual bridge weight means the metals which are used to construct bridges, 100 tons. So the people are walking 1,000 at a time. They're talking about at a time 1,000 people are walking on that bridge. Its weight is 70 ton. Now difference will come. No, that only we are calling payload. So suppose if compared to this weight, if this weight is increases, so there is chance to collapse that bridge. Okay, these are using in a construction field. Okay, anyhow, here not talking about that construction, about talking about a balloon. See, payload is defined as the difference between the mass of the displaced air and the mass of the balloon. Calculate the payload when a balloon of radius 10 meters and mass 100 kg. So balloon mass is given. Balloon mass is 100 kilograms. Is filled with helium at 1.66 bar at 27 degrees centigrade. Density of air is equal to 1.2 kilogram per meter cube and R value 0.083 bar. Okay. First we will calculate displaced air. Volume of balloon. That's a very big answer. Volume of balloon. Four by 3 pi r cube. Calculate this value. R is given 10 meters, 10 cube. Calculate this value. Should come in 4190.4, or approximately you can take 4.5. This is volume of balloon. Then next, mass of displaced air. Mass of displaced air we can get by multiplying this 4190.45 into density. Density of air is given 1.2. So its mass is 5028.57 kilograms. Copy this one. Okay, then next is the mass of helium filled in balloon. So the formula is, PV is equal to nRT. So instead of N, we can write W by M, molar mass. So W is equal to PVM by RT. Substitute here. W is equal to, pressure is given 1.66 bar into V, volume here 4190.45 meter cube is there, convert into liters. 4190.45 into 10 power 3 liters into M, molar mass of helium is 4 divided by R value 0.083. 821, right, in atmosphere. Temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, 300 Kelvin. So it's taking in bars only. 300 Kelvin. Then weight of helium is 1117.46 kilograms. Right, fine, no problem. Kilograms. Next, balloon mass is given 100 grams. Oh, sorry, 100 kilograms. So this is the total mass. Now payload. Payload this minus this. Calculate 5028.57. So 3811. So 0.07 approximately. D is the correct answer. Yes, thank you. Next class, I will start new chapter thermodynamics, but here are some questions I will explain, 10 or 15 questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.